Hey, hey, Cancer! Intuitive Soul Coach here with your April 2023 love reading. Welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and welcome if you are new. Today we'll dive into the collective energy of Cancer and take a look at all things related to love. Whether you are currently single, partnered up, perhaps you're going through a challenging situation with someone close to your heart, we'll dive into it all. So just a friendly reminder, these are general readings. Please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. If you are interested in a personal reading or entering into the free monthly reading giveaway, you can find both of those links in the description box below. All right, so some of you may be focused on a little bit of a situation that happened in the past. As you can see, it's taking a little bit of time to move onward. So I feel like there's going to be a big jump, a big gap, a big leap that you take in the month of April that's going to free you up from a situation of the past. So yeah, you have, boom, 3 cards that came for the future. One that was stuck in the past for a little bit, but you've been doing the healing work and personal development. So let's see what's showing up here for you. Whoo, there is new opportunities coming in, Cancer. You're gaining the knowledge. And in the past, you shut yourself down to something. There may have been a walking away, a 10 of Swords ending. There could have been your heart on lockdown. Someone was emotionally, physically, or spiritually even unavailable, right? This is about you finally moving towards this new opportunity because you finally shut the door on the past, but you stayed there for a little bit. So some of you may have been unavailable in the past, or maybe you've been single for quite some time in the recent past and you just felt like nothing was out there, no new opportunities. That's about to change, and I'm getting more energy towards the end of April, even into May, because this is near future. So May and June look to be very, very beautiful. Intuitively, it was what I'm picking up on, but I feel like you are still working through a couple of these things that weren't available to you in the month of April, but you're learning, you're gaining the knowledge, because in the present month of April, you have here education and knowledge, wisdom. You're learning from the past so you don't repeat scenarios, situations, or relationship patterns that you've gone through in the past, okay? So there's just some big changes showing up, and I'm really excited for you here, Cancer, because something that you have had a hard time through, I feel. We're going to pull some cards. We're going to clarify here once we get into your reading. But in the near future, you have the Lantern, which I love to see. Brand new opportunities, especially after a time where something wasn't available. There were no opportunities, or you were just stuck, stagnant. There was no room for growth because of something that was difficult for you to endure or go through. You have intense passion showing up in the near future with good motivation. Someone may be meeting up for a coffee date. You may be inviting yourself out for a new class, a new workshop. Some of you may meet someone through schooling, education, taking, again, a new class or a new hobby. Some of you may be taking a writing class, I'm hearing. It could be an instructor, a teacher as well. I feel like you are educating and learning more about how to maybe even work with the law of attraction. You may be diving into relationship advice, relationship self-help books, things of that nature. But there's a lot of education and knowledge going on. This can be even you, Cancer, taking a look at what's worked in the past, what hasn't. You're taking a look at being vulnerable. And I was just sharing this with Gemini's reading as well. So if some of you are on that Gemini cusp, or if you even have Gemini in your chart, you may want to check that out. But before each and every big reading, whether it's career readings, love readings, I tune into the collective energy of all. And even though each individual astrological sign, whether it's your sun sign, moon, rising, those are all different, but the collective energy, Spirit was really talking about vulnerability. So that's something I'm incorporating into each and every one of the readings. Of course, they're all a little bit different, but vulnerability is key. And I feel that someone wasn't being vulnerable or open, and that is a part of falling in love. And when we choose to be brave, when we choose to open ourselves up, when we make that choice for ourselves to fully love, regardless of what the end outcome is, that is the true definition of courage. And that's what Brene Brown says as well when it comes to vulnerability and courage. So I do feel that a lot of you are opening yourself up to new ways of doing things, new ways of being. So Cancer, this is a really beautiful month for you to grow, learn, and evolve. So let's dive into your energy and see what is showing up here for you. What's the heart of the matter? Overcoming that pain. And remember, we were stuck on this padlock for a little bit of time. So for those of you that may not have been watching, you may want to rewind that and take a look, because it took a little while for these cards to show up. So you're still healing and reeling and dealing with something that may have been disappointing, whether it was a loss, whether it was a heartbreak, a disappointment, whether it was an argument. Now, Three of Swords doesn't necessarily mean that there was a complete breakup or someone was cheating or something of that nature. It certainly can be that intense. But this Three of Swords can also be about hurtful words, right? Someone may have said something very deep, very painful, and it hurt you. It brought you to your knees. And a lot of times what we do is we use someone's vulnerabilities and we stab them with them, right? We stab them with what it is that hurts them the most. We may say something about their childhood or their father or their patterns, their shadow side, their weaknesses. We hit them below the belt sometimes when we want to hurt someone, because hurt people hurt people. And I feel like someone may have taken a low swing at you and it took you a little bit to recover, and you're still feeling the effects of something that happened. Even if it happened 5 years ago, it's still put up a little bit of a barrier. But there are new opportunities coming in, and you're learning the lessons from the past, and you're gaining wisdom, and it's allowing you to make a shift, a huge quantum leap when it comes to the heart chakra. So let's see what the challenge is for you, because I like the Three of Swords showing up. It's smack dab in the middle. So it means you're healing, you're mending, you're forgiving. I feel like you're no longer avoiding a problem. There is an energy here of knowing that something may not have worked out because there were soul lessons in the midst of it, right? There was something that needed to be revealed or seen. And if you kind of go back to that energy, which of course, if you're over it, I don't want you to go back and rehash it. But if you do go back and look, you will see that there were signs and that your intuition knew something was off. Some of you, it could have been something with communication, but there was something that maybe showed up as a tower moment. And for those of you that are still reaping the effects of a tower moment, I did just put out a collective read for those that have gone through towers, understanding them more. You can find that link in the description box below. The challenge for you is to accept that there are things you cannot change. So again, if you have Gemini cusp, or you're dealing with the Gemini, or you have that in your chart, you may want to check out that reading. So there are certain things that happen that are divinely fated, right? There are relationships that we enter into contracts with to grow, to learn, to evolve. And yes, sometimes it can be difficult to get through to another person. This padlock can be someone you just can't get through to them, right? They're like a stubborn bull. Maybe for some of you they're a Taurus, but I do feel here that this Four of Wands showing up, which is the Four of Inspiration in this deck, when it's showing up as your challenge, it is about things going in a different direction than how you had mentally played out that story. So we all play out a story, right? In this earthly realm of duality, when it comes to our ego needs to have that story, and it plays it out, right? There is no in-between. There is no wishy-washy. We have to tell ourselves either it's going to go all the way or it's going to fail, it's going to succeed, but we need to have that plan. That's what the ego does, right? Is it sets us up for preparation and planning. And even if that planning is an illusion, or if it's not necessarily something that turns out the way that we think, it hopefully projects and prepares us to move in that right path. Well, something didn't work out the way you thought. So the challenge here for you is to find a new stability for yourself, to find this new middle ground. I'm getting the word middle ground. So if you are in a relationship and you've been really struggling with something hurtful or hurtful words, or there was a separation or a pause, I do feel that there's a new foundation or a new sense of stability that is being offered because you're learning some lessons. And when we learn those lessons, we don't have to repeat them. So when this Four of Wands shows up, this is about honoring each other for who we are, honoring that person, the good, the bad, the ugly, the flaws, the imperfections, the insecurities, and you being able to see through them, those surface things to the heart, to the soul of that person, and see that yes, there are challenges, there are struggles, and that person may be wounded, they may be hurt. And it doesn't mean that they are allowed to hurt you, right? Or it doesn't mean that it's okay for them to hurt other people. You may have to love from a distance, and that's okay as well, right? But this is about unconditional love. And I feel like there was a situation within the home environment where something didn't turn out the way you thought it would, and it just left you feeling disappointed. And now the challenge here is acceptance, right? The challenge is moving on and being able to have this new opportunity show up, one that was previously locked up. Some of you may have been through a situation where someone may have moved in or moved out. There could have been, regarding the home space, someone may have slept on the couch. Someone may have left, not came home. I'm getting that type of energy here as well because they're showing me the key, and then regarding the home life or stability here. All right. There could have been a party, a graduation, a wedding, some sort of celebration that someone forgot about as well. Or it may be the anniversary date of someone or something. If you may be even widowed, please take that as it resonates. Some of you may be widowed, or there just could have been something difficult and it may have recently sprung upon you, like, wow, it's been 3 years already, or wow, it's been, 6 weeks since I've talked to this person. So there is a gradual shift, but you're going to wake up one morning and you're not going to think about it. You're going to wake up one morning and say, wow, did I move on from this situation? You're going to wake up one morning and be grateful that you were at least offered this human experience, regardless of the challenges and the struggles and the setbacks, because that, beautiful soul, is how you evolve and you grow and you learn. Eight of Voices. Eight of Voices is in your foundation. Now, this is letting go of that mental story that we talked about. If you felt trapped and restricted, if you felt helpless, this is about opening your eyes to the truth. And the truth is that some sort of illusion that the ego spins within our mind. Maybe that ego says, we'll never find love because there's no one out there. I've been on a million different dates and every single person is the same, right? They only have one thing on their mind, or they're always going to cheat, or maybe every person I find is married, or maybe they live too far. Whatever your story is, time to look that story in the eye and tell yourself a new one. If this old story hasn't been working for you and you're still in a position where you don't want to be, it is time for you to unlock, not so much unlock, get rid of this story altogether. Throw away the key. Throw away that key and open yourself up to a brand new opportunity that's already open here for you, and tell yourself this story of love entering into your world, that you will find the soulmate if you are searching for that, that you can take a relationship if you are currently in one to the next level if you are wanting to do so, right? That you can overcome some of the fears, the limitations, the setbacks, that you can tell yourself a new mental story, because most of the time, the Eight of Swords is our own worst enemy, which is our own mind. It is self-sabotage. It is destruction of overanalyzing, of telling ourselves an illusion, or telling ourselves that we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not skinny enough, we're not good enough to attract this person, or maybe they're not good enough for us, right? Maybe we feel like we're on a pedestal, or this person's down here, or we're up here, or vice versa, right? Let go of those stories that are hindering you from attracting the type of love and relationship that you desire. I'm actually putting out, well, by this time it'll be put out Saturday, a reading regarding, it's for the collective, so please check it out. If you are wanting to know how to get past some of those blocks and limitations, check out that Saturday reading. It's for the collective. As I tune in every Saturday morning and I do a collective reading, and I tune in with spirit and say, all right, what is this? What does our beautiful intuitive soul tribe need to know? And the first thing I heard was blocks and limitations, how to push through them, how to overcome them, especially when it comes to our own mind. If that's something you struggle with, because it is in your foundation here, Cancer, Cancer, you may want to check that out if it resonates with you. All right, let's take a look. I will link that in the description box below as well. All right, let's take a look at the past. What's going on? What is this not available? What's this padlock all about? I'm getting emotionally just not being able to connect with someone or connect with anyone if you are looking for love, or someone may have closed the door, ghosted you, walked out on you, abandoned you, rejected you. This could even stem from childhood. Let's look here. Ace of Emotions, it's in reverse though. Ace of Emotions is all about focusing on self-love. It is about the relationship with self first and foremost. And you also can't drink from an empty cup. And sometimes, Cancers, you are the embodiment of water, right? Sometimes you give and give and give and give, second after third after fourth, 10 chances, 20 chances, right? Some of you may be commenting in the box below saying, Melissa, 3 strikes, you're out, or only 1 chance, right? But I feel that a lot of you overextend and overgive. But once you hurt, then that builds deep within the body, right? And you carry that pain deep, and you put up a wall over it, and you ice it and you barricade it in, and you say, no, I'm not forgiving. I'm not letting this person get away with this. And it can bring a little bit of that bitterness out. And in the past here, you wanted a new love connection. You wanted this relationship to thrive if you were in one or wanting to attract one. You wanted this soul-quenching, brand new renewal that you know you deserve and that you're worthy of. However, things don't always turn out that way. Things aren't always rainbows and unicorns, right? There's challenges and struggles and errors and setbacks and disappointments and loss. I feel like this was a perfect and beautiful opportunity for you to open yourself up to the unconditional self-love, the love that you tend to give other people, Cancer, to give some back to yourself. That's what you're learning. That's why you have the books card showing up here in your present, because you've learned that you can't pour from that, from an empty cup, that you can only give and that you can only receive what it is that you are putting out there. And I feel like you're realizing that you are opening up to this new opportunity, whether it's with new love or with a person that is currently existing in your life. If you want to heal and mend, then there's something of the past that you need to leave in the past, release. And this is a common theme. Again, a lot of similarities between this reading and Gemini's as well. So I do feel like there's a focus, a high focus on you loving you unconditionally, but also loving all of your imperfections as well, instead of painting that picture and that story that all of those flaws and imperfections that someone else will not love because you don't at times, right? Because you don't love them unconditionally. This is an opportunity for growth. This is an opportunity for maturity. And this is an opportunity, Cancer, for you to thrive and rise above any of the setbacks in the past. You have that choice. What's in your head right now? 2 of Swords. Do I take a leap into the unknown, even though I may not know what's going to happen? Or do I stay in my comfort zone? Do I stay holed up in this not available energy, this padlock? Or do I allow myself to be completely and utterly vulnerable, where I have to let down my guard, where I have to accept that risks can bring in more heartache, more heartbreak, but it also gives me the opportunity and the chance to love more than I've ever loved in my entire life. It offers me this opportunity to feel joy and bliss with another partner, with another union beyond, right? It is that beautiful flow of energy. You have the decision. You have that choice. If you believe that you're going to be single forever, right? That's the energy. If you are not wanting that, then stop telling yourself that story, right? Even if it's been true for you this far, take a look and see where that stems from. Is it stemmed from that deep hindering belief? Is there fear? Are you blocking your heart because you're afraid to get vulnerable and you're afraid to get hurt? Okay, open yourself up if you want this love. So many of us, we want to be courageous, we want to be brave, we want to fall in love, but so many people don't offer themselves that beautiful human experience because they've been hurt and they don't want to get hurt again. So they say, I'm better off single. right? I don't care if I'm single. I'm doing good single. And that's great. If you're happy and if you're happy and you know it, stay single. But I feel like you want love, right? You want that partnership. We all want some sort of friendship, connection, partnership, because that's part of the human experience, is bonding, connecting, coming together, being vulnerable. But it is a very challenging part of this human experience to let our guard down and embrace the hurt that potentially may show up. But don't focus on that, right? Don't focus on that hurt. So you have a choice to make. You're going back and forth. Do I stay? Do I go? Do I lock myself up? Do I become vulnerable? Do I leave this relationship or move forward to the next? Do I take a leap of faith and move in with this partner where I don't know where it's going to go? Or do I stay in my own energy because who knows how it'll work, right? You have another Two of Inspiration that just came out. We're not going to take it here because we have just enough cards. Actually, no, we have one left. But Two of Inspiration is, again, that planning. It's another two. So you have some choices and decisions to make here. How would you like this, Spirit? Thank you. Oh, beautiful. So we don't have the final outcome yet. We will get that. But we have here in the near future, Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is attractive. She can be a little feisty. She's creative. She's adventurous. She lights up the room, right? She can be the eye of the party when she's feeling in her power. So Cancer, when you are feeling strong and confident with who you are, you emit this aura of being bold and wise, and you inspire others to live their best lives because you live yours. This is the energy that you want to put out there, right? Instead of the downside of the Queen of Wands, when she's feeling holed up, when she's not available to step into her true power, right? When she's not letting herself be vulnerable and be open, she can let those lower vibrations of jealousy, cattiness, insecurity, ego, vengefulness, she can embrace those because she's hanging on to some stuff that's stored within the body center that need to be released, right? So I'm not saying you have those things, right? But we all can tap into that energy at any given time if we want, or we succumb to the ego, right? Because we all have egos. This is about you embracing the power within and opening yourself up, being vulnerable. Powerful. This is what you have coming in here. So you're embracing this. You're going to make a choice to be this person, the powerful embodiment of the Queen of Wands versus the ego side of the Queen of Wands, right? Empower versus ego. We'll say empowerment versus the ego self. All right. What are you telling yourself? Queen of Voices, you're trying to be rational. And I don't think this situation is called for rationality, right? This isn't something you can, your mind can talk you, your mind can talk you out of anything, of course. But I feel like this is about you leading with the heart, not the head. And sometimes the Queen of Swords, she shuts down. She doesn't lead with the heart. Doesn't mean she doesn't have one. It doesn't mean that she doesn't, know that that's there. But sometimes she keeps that heart locked away. That's with this padlock here. Sometimes she's not available because she doesn't want to get hurt. Again, repetitiveness here. Some of you are saying, Melissa, you've just said that a million times. And because it's showing up for you a million times, Cancer, you have what it takes to push through. You have clarity. The beautiful side of this Queen of Swords energy is she can be blunt, but she knows what to do to move forward. She's intuitive. She is logical. She brings clarity to the mix, and when she makes decisions, she does it. But you also make sure that you tap into the emotions as well, because sometimes she can be a little bit cold. She can be a little bit sharp. She doesn't always tap into the emotional side of things. So I say here, I would challenge you, if you are feeling in this Queen of Swords energy, drop down to the heart center. If you are in your head, not your heart, try to drop down to that heart, because that's going to bring these beautiful shifts in, right? That's going to switch you to the Queen of Wands here to this, Queen of Swords to the Queen of Wands. And beautiful traits on every single queen in tarot, but there's also the downside of every single one as well. Now, what's going on in your environment? King of Cups, you are maturing. You are evolving. You've been through a situation here. Absolutely. The King of Cups is someone who's very loving and very supportive. This is someone you may be attracting into your world because you actually have here, remember, you have intense passion, you have good motivation, and you have the Lantern. There is a new opportunity. And if you are looking for love, if you are looking for partnership, This is who you want to have it with. This is someone who's emotionally invested with their own selves, with their own spirituality, their own intuition, physically, mentally, emotionally. They got it. They got it going. This King of Cups is someone who's supportive, emotionally intelligent, patient. This is someone who, they may be a little bit emotionally distant until you get them on, your good side, your good gracious, until they get to really trust and know that you are there for them. But when they commit, they are fully in. So whether this is your energy, which you can be that king of emotion, or whether this is what you are attracting because you have matured, you've grown, you've evolved, this is the type of relationship that you want. Not a page or a knight of swords, or excuse me, knight of wands, or knight of cups in the reverse, someone who's in and out, who plays games. You want this king energy. You want this commitment. And that's what's showing up here for you, or the energy waves that you are putting out into the universe. So congratulations, because you've opened up, you've matured, you've evolved, and maybe this other person has as well if you are dealing with another person. And I feel really, really beautiful new energy coming in for you, because you have here good motivation, you have the hearts. So this is heat, this is warmth. They're also showing me that someone, okay, this is a little deep. Someone, especially if you are single, you may be sharing your bed. So you may want to get some new sheets, or some new, some new room decor, or something of that nature, because I feel like someone may be having a glimpse into your private space, okay, your bedroom. So that's not going to resonate with every single one of you, especially if you're in a relationship. Some of you may actually be shopping for sheets or shopping for bedding. They're not showing me anything too vile here, but they are showing me that there's something with bedrooms, which can be very intimate, right? So there's some sort of intimacy happening, but I'm also sensing there's new sheets coming into the picture. So if you just bought new sheets, or if some of you have been contemplating new bedding, then this is the perfect month to go for it. All right, now in the position here of your hopes and fears, this is the Two of Cups, right? Two of Cups is all about that partnership. That is all about having that union with an important person that you love. There's attraction, there's romance, right? And the fear is, what if we separate? What if we can't heal this past trauma? What if it's unrequited love? What if they reject me? What if I am not willing to let love in? You have this choice. This is another two, and we just seen almost all four twos show up in your reading. This is you making a choice to open your heart or to separate yourself from love. And we've just talked about that. You can either choose to become courageous and vulnerable, or you can choose to shut yourself down in fear of getting hurt. Okay, that's what lies within your hopes and fears. You have that free will, beautifuls. You have that choice. I'm not, whatever you want to do, that's completely up to you. I'm not judging. But if you want that level of love, which you have the opportunities to bring it in here, then you may want to choose to open up, to be vulnerable, to risk. Seven of Cups. You have choices here. Some of you have more than one person that's caught your eye, or you may even have someone that you've been daydreaming about. Someone's been daydreaming about you, I feel, as well. You may have even been dreaming about each other, especially if you know who this person is. 10 of Wands and 7 of Cups. So you're releasing some sort of heavy burdens, and it's going to allow you to open up to new opportunities. That's what your final outcome is. 10 of Inspiration, 10 of Wands, 7 of Emotion, 7 of Cups. If you were taking on too much, this is about releasing those heavy burdens. It is about bringing in others to maybe lighten the load. Some of you, this could be going to therapy, counseling, coaching with each other, knowing that you have options here, knowing that you're not stuck in a situation. I feel like a lot of you are thinking up new solutions to bring in new abundance, new prosperity, and new success into your love life. Okay, very, very powerful, because you see these beta fish and these goldfish, and these represent prosperity and longevity, right? These are little creatures that can last forever. So I feel that whatever you are releasing, you're releasing it for good, and it's something that you don't need to carry those heavy burdens moving forward, because there's new energy ushering in here. So just because things didn't work out for you in the past, it doesn't mean that they're not going to work out in the present or future. So last but not least here, let's get a message from the wisdom of the Oracle. What do we have here, Cancer, for you? Sorry if I called you Gemini. I don't know if I did or not. You have between worlds. So a lot of that duality going on here, a lot of decision making, but you have the flamingo here, Cancer. So I do feel like a lot of you are feeling a little bit, should I, shouldn't I, right? You're in that transition period, and this is all about not quite being out of one situation and fully engaged in another. It's about temporary blindness. It's no man's land, and that's what you have showing up with that Two of Swords, is that blind, no man's land. And the relationship message is this. This is a time to explore the new energy between you and another. It is not a moment of certainty, rather for discovery and curiosity. You don't yet know if this will last forever, so allow yourself to explore who you are and what is reflected back to you. This relationship is meant to educate you. There's the books card showing up. There's a relationship or experience, Cancer, that's meant to educate you about yourself, about who you are and what is reflected back. What do you need? What do you like or dislike? What values are important to you? You are in a critical phase of your relationship, even if that's the relationship with yourself, that is not to be dismissed or hurried. So beautiful clarifying card to wrap up your reading, because yes, you may be feeling a little bit in between, but you're educating yourself. There's knowledge. You're learning a lot about who you are. You're learning a lot about that relationship with self. And there could have been something reflected back to you, and you're learning, you're growing, you're evolving. I hope this resonates with you, Cancer. If so, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell if you haven't already and you're vibing with this channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lots of love.